You know, old Bucky's had it rough. Going from fighting in World War II to becoming a Hydra puppet to being hated by your allies when they find out that you killed their parents when you were brainwashed. I mean, if Steve Rogers is Aang from Avatar, he fought in a war, got stuck in a block of ice, was revived to save the world, Bucky is what would have happened if after being thawed out, Aang was discovered by the Fire Nation. If they had brainwashed Aang into fighting for the Fire Lord, whew, that show would have been dark. That would have been... You know what? Let's just stick to talking about Bucky, because we don't need any alternate Avatar universes right now. I'm not gonna lie here. When talking about all the world-changing, world-ending, bigger-than-life characters of the MCU, I personally tend to forget about the Winter Soldier the most. You'd think that honor would go to Hawkeye. But come now, Hawkeye being the most unnecessary member of the Avengers is why he's remembered. That being discount Green Arrow, that is. And while you're here, don't you forget to do the YouTube thing and like and subscribe. Honestly, if it weren't for Captain America reminding us of how important Bucky was to him, I'd almost think that the MCU would have left him alone after Civil War. But hey, that's what the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is for, right? For us to finally get to understand this guy now that there's not someone perpetually trying to kill him. And even though we're only 2 episodes in at this point, we're seeing a timeless theme with our time-displaced friend, seeking forgiveness and making amends. Bucky wants to make things right after everything he's done, and that's definitely a commendable thing. Cause let's be real here, he doesn't have to do this. Homeboy helped save the world and the universe from Thanos and undo the snap. One could argue that there's nothing more that he can do to make amends than what he's already done. Then he has a pardon, so he's legally absolved of all guilt. But ask anyone who's messed up in a relationship, even when you know things are good between you and someone else, sometimes it doesn't always feel that way. There's that nagging sense of, I need to do more, it's not enough. So what do you do if you feel like Bucky? Like your guilt is sticking to you like gum on your shoe? I'm the guidance guy, and your internet school counselor has made this intro way too long. Let's just get into this. Naturally, before we get into how we move on from persistent guilt, we first need to discuss just what causes it in the first place. And I think I can speak for everyone when I say, we all know how guilt works. You do a bad, and then you feel bad for doing the bad. And that's okay. It's actually a good thing to experience guilt when you've transgressed in some way. Fun fact, when you type in why guilt into Google, some of the common phrases it gets is why guilt is pointless and why guilt is a useless emotion. And let me say this right now, if you or someone you know truly believes that guilt is a pointless emotion, either get help or run, because that person is a sociopath who feels no remorse. And as a certain high-speed hedgehog likes to say,
that's no good.
That's right, Sonic. That's right. We need guilt as a way for our bodies to tell us that we violated some rule or made some mistake. The problem comes when we stagnate in guilt. And that's the problem we find with the Winter Soldier these days. Despite everything he's done in the name of justice and the protection of humanity, he still feels like it's not enough. And this is where guilt can become a problem. When we live in that guilt and feel like we need to complete some exhaustive list of actions in order to get rid of it. This is what's called a guilt complex, a mindset in which you believe you've done something wrong or will do something wrong. And some of the signs of it are an obsession with past mistakes, regret, anxiety, and sleep problems. Those all sound familiar, right? Because Bucky's got them. Why else does he go around trying to tie up loose Hydra ends? Why is he hanging out with family members of his victims? He's incapable of moving past his sins. And hopefully we can see our 50s man grow past his history and embrace his new reality just like his best friend did. But how will we be able to do it? How can we move past the guilt complex? Stay tuned! When looking at the Winter Soldier and all of the weight of the pain he's been carrying around for decades, it's understandable that he would want to take some time to mentally recover from it all. And like him, there are 3 steps that we could take to move on from a guilt complex. One action we could take is by sharing your experience with someone else. It could be a close friend, a family member, or as in Bucky's case, getting professional help to work through everything. Guilt can be an isolating emotion that tricks us into thinking that we're alone in our struggles. But we're not. There's always someone who's there to care, to listen, and to help. The second step is actually something that good old Cap did. He saw the positive in his situation. Steve is literally the only other person who's experienced what Bucky's gone through. Well, minus all the brainwash-induced murder. And one of the strongest traits of America's hero is his ability to see the good in just about anything. This guy could even see the silver lining of half the universe being dusted. Perhaps Bucky could catch up with his old friend as a way to seek the solace he so desperately is searching for. But truly, the best way for Bucky and for us to live past guilt is to forgive ourselves. Like I said in my SpongeBob mini, forgiveness is empowering yourself to not let what someone else did to you hold you back. And sometimes we tend to hold ourselves back with our own guilt. And it can come from things that we know were wrong, or we could just be punishing ourselves with what we feel we deserve. And I'm certain that's what's happening to Bucky. And in order for him and us to live a guilt-free life, we need to be willing to forgive ourselves, admit we did wrong, know that we're remorseful about it, show that by avoiding those actions again, and allowing yourself to live past those moments. Let's see if our robo-armed hero can make that leap. And even if he doesn't, that doesn't mean that you can't take the first steps to make an amends with your past and yourself. Thanks for watching! How do you think the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going to go down for Bucky? Let's hear it in the comments. And as always, help this channel out by doing the YouTube thing. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Until next time.